Hey guys, welcome to day 8 of my carnivore journey, take 2. Again, if you don't know who I am, then join me, like, subscribe, and I do this daily vlog where I tell you everything I eat, how I feel. I basically share what I'm going through on carnivore journey. So if you want to go through it together with me, hey, let's go. All right, let's get on with it. So guys, day 8. Basically today was, again, I didn't really eat a whole lot. I don't know if it's just the process I'm going through. Sometimes you just don't feel like eating. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to address today is people say like, hey, how much do you eat? Of course, I share that with every video. You can find it in the description down below, how much I eat every day. But sometimes people are like, well, okay, I know that you're eating that much, but is that right for me? Or how do I know? Or what if I want to eat other things and I don't know how to measure that? Well, the best thing I can tell you is on carnivore, you don't really need to count calories. You should try to avoid as much dairy as you can if you're trying to lose weight. I have a problem with, on the carnivore part of it, I do like my heavy cream. I like that in my coffee. I also like cheese. So I try to limit it as much as I can. And I'll get into that more one day here too. But for now, how do you know? Well, the biggest piece of advice I would say is eat until you're full, so to speak. Now, for me, and I'll start getting into today, I had 2 hot dogs for lunch again. Now, I take 2. It doesn't mean I have to eat them both. But I actually got fairly hungry. And I don't know if it's because I didn't have a lot of red meat last night. I had eggs and bacon. But I ate the hot dogs. And both those hot dogs, that half pound of beef hot dogs, filled me up pretty good. And then when I got time for dinner later on around like 7 o'clock, I actually went to bacon and eggs. But I made a cheese omelet and bacon. And so the omelet there had 3 strips of bacon. Well, the one that you see on the plate and inside the omelet totaled up to be 3 slices of thick cut bacon. I then snacked on another piece of bacon a little later. And then when I got home from my second job, right before doing this video, I snacked on 1 more piece of bacon. So altogether, 5 pieces of bacon. It was a 3-egg omelet. Cheese was about 3 ounces. And the 2 hot dogs. And then I had my 20-ounce cup of coffee with a splash of heavy cream. That was after dinner, again, helping with my dessert cravings, curbing those. So that's every single thing I ate. But like I said, my lunch, if I eat both those hot dogs, sometimes that regulates my dinner. Okay. So your dinner, you're just going to want to eat until your brain's like, hey man, I just don't really want any more, or you're full. I was using a rule of thumb the first time I did carnivore. So even if you go back to my original, like day 1, day 2, day 3, like my first month, there was a lot of times I was making these 1-pound ground beef hamburgers. So I would use 1 pound of meat as a general rule of thumb. So I would say that for anybody out there watching, that's sort of a good point, is maybe a pound of red meat in however form, whether it's a steak, that's a pound, 16 ounces, whether it's a pound of ground beef. Use that as a rule of thumb generally. Now, so in other words, you might make a 1-pound burger or you might get a 1 pound steak and you may not eat it all. You might get halfway through the steak and say, I'm good. Like it tasted great, but I just don't want to take another bite. Your brain's like, hey, I've had enough of it and I'm good. You know, your brain usually will tell you. Now with steak, you're generally going to get through most of that. So you might end up eating maybe 3/4 of a pound. Same thing with the burger. Again, use that rule of thumb. So maybe the next time you make a burger, maybe you're only going to make 3/4 of a pound and see how you do with that. You know, it just depends. That's the great thing about with this diet is, you know, you're not hungry a lot if you eat enough red meat each day. Now, when I stray and I have days where I eat like just a couple hot dogs, a half pound of, because hot dogs, even though they're beef hot dogs, they're not always as satiating as like just straight up ground beef or steak, right? So that's something you got to think about. But I might have my hot dogs, and then for dinner, normally I like to have a steak or ground beef, but sometimes, like today, the reason why I had eggs and bacon again was time constraints. I literally just did not have enough time to like whip up a steak. I just made some eggs and I had the bacon was pre-cooked. Remember, I made those 4 pounds earlier in the week. So I had plenty of bacon in the fridge still. So I could just pull it out, throw it in the microwave, and then just throw the eggs in there. And I just shredded the cheese right on the eggs, you know, like it made it into an omelet. Anyways, so sometimes it's convenience, right? So, but today I was able to pick up like a 4-pack of New York strips for like $45. Usually I like to get them when they're on sale down to almost like 40, but the reason why I picked these up for $47. The reason why I picked these up for $47 was because all 4 of these New Yorks just looked good. The marbling looked good. The cut of them looked good. And I was like, okay, all 4. Because sometimes those 4-packs, you'll have like 2 stupid looking ones, but you'll have like 1 really cool looking one. You're like, oh, that looks really good. This one had like all 4 looked pretty desirable. So I was like, okay. And they were good sizes and they were on sale. So I'm like, okay. So we're averaging like $12 per steak roughly, or a little under 12. So I'm like, okay, well, I normally try to go lower. I like a lot of top sirloin because it averages $6 to $10 depending on the size. But the great thing about steak is you don't have to always get a pound. It's usually pretty satiating. But if you can get anywhere like 14 to 16 ounces, and then whatever scraps I have left over, I usually give to my dog because he's carnivore. But anyways, that's kind of my general rules of thumb with how much to eat. If you have any other questions, hit me up in the comments. And by the way, guys, your comments have been amazing. Still love the comments. I did hear a lot of what you guys say. Sometimes you guys give me a little bit of advice, which is fine. Sometimes you're just telling me. I like hearing your guys' stories and what you guys are doing. It's encouraging. It is. And it just feels good. So I'm glad to be back again, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to commit to daily videos every single day. So we're 8 days straight now. So, and if you include the failure video, that's 9 videos straight that I've been committed to so far. So I'm working on it. But guys, it was great seeing you again today. I hope you're also sticking with it. And I look forward to tomorrow's video as well. Oh, and by the way, one last thing. I don't know, some of you may have clicked off by now, but this weekend, July 4th weekend, I know like a lot of you will be out doing things probably and maybe cooking out. I'm going to try to pick a time this weekend, and I'm probably going to try to go live. Now, I may not be able to in the end, but I'm going to try to do a live soon, just to where you guys can pop in, comment, talk. Oh, and as far as my eye goes, I don't think it's any better or any worse. So I'm just going to keep monitoring. I'm trying not to touch it, trying not to mess with it, so it it can heal. Oh, and poops. Yeah, my poops today. I actually had two this time. I had one in the morning and one in the evening. Both were solid, and one was a little bigger than the other in the morning. The evening one wasn't as big, but solid. So doing good on that. So, all right, guys. That's it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.